This place behind me wasn't built for people to live in. It was actually built for time. What you're looking at is one of the most intact and least reconstructed Mayan sites in Mexico. There are no modern rebuilding here, no theatrical restoration, primal region architecture preserved by the jungle. Chacchoben was never a big city like Chichen Itza. Archaeologically, it functioned very much differently. This was actually a ceremonial center, a place where people would travel to at a specific moment in the year and then, of course, left again.
Southern Quintana Roo, inland from the cruise port of Costa Maya. The name means place of the red corn, but what was built here had nothing to do with farming.
This was primarily a ceremonial center and not a residential city. People would come here periodically, and people who lived here were only guarding this place. So it's kind of like we have modern fairs, fairgrounds, we only have certain events here at a certain time of the year. So there were not many residents, and architecture, an archaeological model only supports a pilgrimage model for this place. People came here for events and not a daily life. The site peaked early, unlike other Mayan places. However, it declined before the late classical collapse. There was no evidence of sudden destruction. People just stopped using this place for ritual, and since there was no inhabitation here, people just forgot about it. This temple behind me is a great example of a Mayan construction. So we have multiple construction phases, one after another, and you can see the earlier places were not buried, they were just kind of built on top of another. So they were just continuing building up with better. So this building was built over a 1,000-year period almost, which is a very common Mayan practice. Again, the sacred space was always maintained and just expanded, and this was part of a long-term ritual planning, not just a one-time event. So the steps behind me are very, very narrow access. The narrower the steps you have and the steeper the steps you have means that it restricts access. So basically only the elite can climb up for elite activities, and it's actually designed for crowds to stop the crowds from climbing up those stairs. This behind me right here, it is an early classical stele, which is a very fragmentary inscription. There's not much left, that's why it is still here at the site, not in a museum. And it basically proves the local authority that we have. So yes, of course, there were political powers existed. However, there are not really any famous dynasties that are known, and we don't have any long distance propaganda in the Mayan world during this period of this site.
When people picture Maya ritual, they picture sacrifice, hearts on altars, blood down stairways. None of that happened here.
There was no evidence of human sacrifice. However, there was most likely, we have some bloodletting for the rituals, sacred rituals. There was no sacrificial burials or imagery here. Although we have human sacrifices in different sites in the Mayan world, there is no evidence to have any human sacrifices in this place. Elite bloodletting fits this period and this set type, and ritual is usually focused on precision and timing and not as a spectacle. Mayans believe in a cyclical time, and they were the ones who actually developed a calendar for their ritual. So they believed that the time was in a cyclical, not a linear like we have in the Western world. And their calendar was actually based on ceremonies. Ritual was important for the Mayans to maintain a cosmic order, and if the calendar would fail, it would be imbalance in the universe and we would have the end of the sun.
The plaza in front of this temple was built for crowds, but only on the days the calendar called for them. Most of the year, this place looked exactly like it does now. Empty, quiet, waiting. And what you're seeing is close to what archaeologists actually found.
So the site was discovered in the middle of the 20th century by an American archaeologist. However, it was not fully excavated till 1994, and then it lasted till 2024 as well. So this is part of the reconstruction. As we see, this is all the debris behind me right here. This is the debris. And when the archaeologists started to excavate, they found the traces of the original wall. And of course, there's not enough manpower to discover the whole site, but this is just the impression how monumental this place was. Chacchoben is important because it shows a quieter model of a Mayan society. So the focus here was on ritual without an empire, authority without a royal propaganda, if you like. So architecture was focused on timing and not on population size, because this area wasn't heavily populated. If you want to see more places like this, filmed on location, explained very carefully and grounded in real archaeological evidence, don't forget to subscribe, like, and most importantly, keep digging.